What is up, my peeps? Joshua Smith here with another GSD Mode podcast weekly real estate tip. And today I'm here to talk to you about why it is hands down the best time to be involved in real estate. And when I say involved in real estate, I'm speaking to real estate professionals. So for realtors, team leaders, and brokerage owners, I've been in this game personally since 2005. And right now is hands down the best time that I've ever seen in my 18 plus year long career now to be involved in this amazing profession that we are all involved in. If you're watching or listening to this, I'm guessing that you are attached to the real estate space, the real estate industry, or maybe thinking about getting involved in the real estate industry. So I wanted to walk through with you on today's real estate tip and go kind of do a deep dive into why I have this belief system. And what inspired me for this podcast today and to create this podcast today is I'm having so many conversations with so many real estate professionals right now that are struggling. It's like, I was just talking with one of my teammates a second ago about this. I'm like, man, it's like it's split evenly down the line. It's like half the agents that I'm talking to or team leaders or broker owners I'm talking to are just crushing it and having the best year of their career, or it's the complete polar opposite of that where they're struggling at a level that they never struggled before, and they're just getting crushed. I'm like, it's just one of these times where there's really no in between. And I'm hearing so many people that are just discouraged right now. And I'm like, look, man, you got to turn that shit around. And I'm not saying this just from, mindset perspective of, think positively, things will, no, like there's, definite reasons. And I'll go through these with you as to why this is hands down the best time for us to go out there and dominate. And I don't just mean because of the market climate. We look at the overall market climate in combination with technology, everything that exists out there. So I want to do a deep dive into this today. So let's break these down. All right, so reason number one as to why it is the best time to be involved in the real estate industry right now here in 2023 is, look, we have just ended the longest bull market in recorded history. So we had this, insanely long, since from 2012. Until roughly, depending on where your market is at and what's going on in your market, from about 2012. So over a decade straight of a seller's market. And I know that most markets or a lot of markets are still in a seller's market, but when we look at overall transaction volume, being down, the bull market is over, right? And it might rebound and whatnot, but we finally had an adjustment in the marketplace. So why is this a good thing? When I first got in the industry, one of my first mentors used to always tell me, be like, Josh, great agents make more money in hard, challenging markets, make more money in down markets than they do in good markets. And it never made sense to me until I went through my first real estate market shift. And then I was like, oh shit, now that made sense. Because he repeat that to me over and over and over. And that was in 2005, which was just a crazy, insane market, very similar to like 2021. And it didn't make sense. And then when I experienced, when 2007 hit, I was like, oh, yep, now it makes sense. And why this makes sense is because, look, when the market is extremely hot, and not just extremely hot from a pricing increase standpoint, because I know when I say this, and I got to be careful with my words here, because some of you, I don't want you to discount this right now, because some of you might be listening to this and be like, dude, my market's still hot. We still have multiple offers. Prices are still going up. My market is doing that as well. But the market has shifted. It has changed, meaning that like in my market, there's about 39% lesser transactions taking place than there normally is historically. So we have transaction volume way down. The reason why there are still multiple offers and prices are still going up is we have a shit ton less buyers out there, but we have that much more less inventory. So we just have that much more less overall transactions actually taking place. And this presents a lot of different challenges for the real estate community. And one of the reasons why so many people are struggling right now is they're operating as if it's still 2021 or 2019, 2020, 2021. Most people, if you've been in this industry prior, since 2012 and on, you haven't experienced really anything but an ongoing appreciating sellers market, where now it's time to get to work. And who knows where the market's going to go? Who knows what's going to happen? We're in this crazy artificial economy. If it wasn't for all this artificial stimulus and all this monetization of debt, we'd be in a 16-year-long depression right now. So I don't know what's going to happen with the market. I don't know how long the can be kicked down the road. It seems like maybe that can, go for much longer than, I ever personally anticipated, but it's taking place. So I don't know how long this is going to go, but, to give an example here. okay, it takes a whole different type of skill set. When it comes from taking on a listing, when the market's hot and everybody's selling and everybody wants to buy, everybody wants to sell, kind of like we experienced at that post-COVID catapult. So in 2020, 2021, early 2022, where you just had, it's FOMO, everybody wanting to buy, every investor going out there and buying, everybody wanting to, not everybody wanting to sell, but a lot of sellers taking place, and the market was just hectic and crazy. Okay, well, anybody's, I don't know, cousin or niece or family member or friend that has zero experience can take that listing and then boom, it's going to pop. Well, all of a sudden you shift into a buyer's market where, let's just say, the average listing time on a property is now 5 months or 6 months. It takes a whole different type of skill set. Number one, we got to make sure that home's priced right. We got to make sure that the product displays at its best. We got to make sure it's promoted right. But then to keep that seller engaged and keep them not from firing you and giving you the adequate time that you need, well, it takes a whole different element of skill sets and a whole different element of communication and different processes, and whatnot. So right now in this market, I know that that's not the market for most of you. Most of you, things are still selling fast and whatnot. But like right now, we've got to be snipers, man. We got to have that sniper scope and operating from a sniper scope, not operating from shotgunning shit out. So an example of this, I was talking with a coaching client of mine the other day, or a few weeks ago, I should say, maybe even a month ago. But that conversation was, well, man, I was, doing cold calls, and cold calls historically worked well for me, but now they've just went to a standstill. And I'm like, okay, well, who are you cold calling? It's not that the phones are broke. It's not that cold calling's broke. Who are you calling? He's like, well, I'm circle prospecting. I'm like, okay, well, circle prospecting is a shotgun approach, right? Well, right now you got to be, again, have that sniper scope. So we need to identify, okay, who has the highest probability, the highest likelihood of selling in this marketplace? Because with circle prospecting, you have so many people right now that are locked into low interest rates. They don't want to sell because where are they going to go? They don't want to pay these high interest rates. All those things that we're all experiencing, at least most of us are experiencing in our markets. So then from there, I'm like, okay, well, who has the highest probability of experiencing some pain points right now in this given market that would be motivated to go out there and sell? Of course, you got expireds and you got FSBOs. They've already raised their hands, but in most markets, there's a lower amount of those. Well, then from there, I'm like, okay, and we just made a list. We're like, okay, short-term rentals and targeting short-term rentals. Short-term rentals are just getting, our short-term rental landlords are getting murdered and crushed in most markets throughout the country right now. And even some long-term rentals, so we just went out there and made this list, absentee owners, right? And went out there and made this list and, came up with some scripting and some plans to go out there and target those. So that's an example of being that sniper focus right now. I was having a conversation with one of my teammates this morning at our weekly mastermind, and he's like, man, my challenging is, I got all these buyers, I got all these buyer brokers, I got all these, pre-qualified buyers, but the price point that they want, it just, number one, it's very difficult because they're like in that, 2 to 3, 300, 200,000, 300,000 price point. He's like, like there's really almost nothing out there that exists. And when that property does come available that exists, man, there's 50 offers on it. And these buyers are, first time buyers. And I was like, okay, well, yeah, I know that, you want to be able to help those clients out. But in certain markets, you can only help people that they got to be ready, willing, able, and committed, man. They got to be, you got to be able to go out there and perform for them. So then from there, I'm like, okay, what are you doing to attract and bring these types of buyers in? So we came up with a strategy. Or gave some ideas of a strategy, I should say. So it's one of the reasons why I like targeted paid Facebook ads, or even free group posts, or free social media strategies, or open houses, because I got to pick the price point. Okay, well, if my market right now, if it's almost an impossibility to get $200,000 to $300,000 buyers under contract right now, okay, well, where would I have a chance? Okay, maybe it's the $400,000 to $800,000 price point. Maybe that's what I need to be focusing on. Okay, let me go out there and do open houses in $400,000 to $800,000 subdivisions with $400,000 to $800,000 properties. Let me go out there and run ads very specifically with that price point in that price point range. Wow, check out these amazing homes currently listed for sale here in Peoria, Arizona, all currently listed, all currently featuring sparkling swimming pools, 4+ bedrooms, 2.5+ bathrooms, 2,500+ square feet, all currently listed between $400,000 and $800,000. Click the learn more button below to see info, price, photos, monthly mortgage payment amounts, and more. Okay, well, now people that are going to engage with that ad are obviously looking for that property type and in that price point of $400,000 to $800,000. So that's what I'm talking about, being a sniper in this marketplace. But here, I'm kind of getting off track a little bit here with this. So why is this such a great thing? Because it's the time where the professionals shine and the amateurs just get crushed, right? So when the market, the last decade or so of the market, amateurs could go out there and make money. Right now, amateurs are getting crushed. That 50% that I talked about that's struggling, and I'm not saying if you're in that 50 percentile that's struggling right now, and I'm just making, and when I'm saying 50 percentile, these are not like NAR stats. I'm just going off of, I get half a dozen plus emails from podcast listeners on a daily basis and having conversations. I'm just using that as my best guesstimate, from conversations that I'm having. So, but with that, okay, if you're in that bottom 50th percentile where you're struggling right now, okay, like, dude, you're operating as an amateur. I'm not calling you an amateur. I'm just saying that your actions are what amateurs are doing right now. You need to shift that over to doing what pros do. What do pros do? Man, they treat their business like a business, right? They pay attention to strategy. They're tracking. They're measuring. They understand the power of systems and processes. And again, they understand that, man, I need an effective strategy, and I'm going to go out there and commit and put in the damn work, because that's what it takes to succeed in a challenging market. But the cool thing is, the great part about this is having that understanding that even if transaction volume remains low for some time, which, I'm not a big fan of making predictions, but, with things the way they are, I mean, it very well could be, unless we start seeing, because we have most of these big institutional investors are out of the marketplace, but they're continuing to hold on to the inventory that they've acquired. So when we start looking at this, like, oh, how is more inventory going to hit the market? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what this looks like, but I do know, and I shouldn't say that I do know. My best guesstimate is that we're going to be in this, kind of higher interest rate environment, a higher inflationary environment for some time. With China now hitting the money printing press, to the magnitude of trillions of dollars, that's very inflationary. And I just don't know if it's the climate where we can go out and from an economic standpoint and lower interest rates massively. Now that might pivot, that might turn, I don't know, but let's just say that we are here for some time in this low transaction volume. Because why is transaction volume so low, right? It's because cost of capital is high right now, and all-time low affordability for overall real estate, right? So if those two things stay constant, we're probably going to be, when you only have 25% of the general public that can really participate in transactions of real estate, where healthy markets are more like 75%, okay, well, you just wiped out about 50% of potential clientele out there, for the markets. But here's the cool part about that is, even if that stays low, the amount of agents that drop out, and even if those that don't drop out, it'll be really interesting this time around to see what the overall percentage of agents that do completely drop out, versus those that are just disengaged that go get side hustle jobs. Because right now, one of the differences between now and our last big market correction that we saw, and speaking of the great financial crisis like '08, is all this gig work. It was like, it's much easier today. Okay, I can hold my real estate license in just case I pop a couple deals a year, whatever, or have this, hope or this thought that I'm going to re-enter that game when the market changes. But then now I can go drive Uber. I can do side gig work, as independent contractors, and do side things where I can pick and choose my schedule. So, statistically, there might be a lesser percentage of agents that drop out this time around, with this new challenging market that we're well into at this point. But it's not just about those that drop out. It's also about the disengaged that aren't doing deals. And we know that is an exponential, and we've seen an exponential increase in that. All right, so this is a time, again, for those that are truly committed to go out there and shine. So, all right, that's, reason number one as to right now it's such a great climate, because the amount that drop out, or the amount that are disengaged, that percentage is going to outweigh the lesser transaction volume time that we are in. So it's just a matter of time before that switch flips. Before those, you got the agents, dropping out, disengaged, coming down on this graph over here, and transaction volume decline might stay stagnant. Well, eventually that line's going to go, cross, where it all becomes relative. And then that sweet spot, that amazing sweet spot, is going to be when transaction volume increases back to historic norms again, if that takes place. And then at the same time, we have all these agents that dropped out. or disengaged, that's going to create, whether it's 12 months, 24 months of just this amazing sweet spot of just time to go out there and get yours, dude, right? Okay, so reason number 2 as to why it's the best time to be involved in real estate is there are more free, amazing ways to generate business right now today than ever before. So I look at this, okay, we've been blessed with all these amazing social media platforms. Now, whether you like them or don't like them, I personally don't enjoy them from an entertainment perspective. I don't, the last thing I want to do is I'm going to go on Instagram, go on Facebook, go on TikTok, right? I don't enjoy them from an entertainment aspect. So I don't care what, our a personal opinion is of these platforms. But the reality is that these are juggernauts to go out there and grow and expand your business. There are a lot in our industry, a lot that I know personally, that are doing $1 million plus a year in GCI from these free platforms, just by taking full advantage of them. So you got, between Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. And then from there, it's like, dude, you can go out there and murder it with YouTube. I have, good friends of mine that are in this business that are doing, $100 grand, $200 grand a month just from their YouTube channels and just murdering it. I have teammates on my team, they're doing 50, 60 grand a month consistently just from their YouTube channels, right? And that's a free platform. Then from there, it's like, dude, you got your cell phones. Look at the cell phones today. Back in this closet, back down this hallway over here, I have so much film equipment just now collecting dust. I've got, multiple DSLRs. I have some lenses that were like 5Gs just for the lens, not counting the DSLR setup. I've got HD, camcorders that cost me an arm and a leg to go out there and have, because I used to have to utilize all that shit. Right now, when I'm creating this video, I got a Logitech HD camera plugged into my computer, which is like $200 on Amazon. And then from there, it's like, okay, all the content I want to shoot in the field, I can do from my iPhone. The iPhones today, and I'm assuming that Droid's all the same. I just use the word iPhone or that I'm just referencing the iPhone because that's the, phone that I utilize. But the quality of content that those things shoot is every bit as powerful as a $10,000 camera. Or $5,000 camera, maybe they've come down in price since, back in the day when I was having to buy those, but it's freaking insane. So I guess where I'm going with that is like, dude, you got your cell phone, you got internet, you got these free platforms, no reason to go out there and murder it other than you're just not committed to doing it. That's it. Yeah, right? It doesn't take long to go out there and murder it with these platforms and grow massive freaking businesses if you put in the work. And they're free, so we don't have an excuse. Because then you can't be, and I'll get into this, this is one of my next tips, or one of my next reasons, but then people are like, well, I don't know how to. You can't use that excuse anymore. You got YouTube, you got Google, you got a business, you can go learn anything on Udemy for $10. So there's no excuse other than we're just not committed, and that's okay. You just got to deal in realities and be like, okay, do I really want this thing to happen? The committed are going to go out there and shine. There is a reason why 90% of those that enter this industry drop out within the first 3 years, because they are uncommitted. You can't hide behind the excuse anymore. If I didn't know what to do, I didn't know how to do it, I didn't know what to do. We can't hide behind that excuse anymore. Yeah, right? Maybe you can hide behind, if you want to utilize an excuse that just circles back to commitment, but is, okay, I chose to not be resourceful to go out there and figure out the how-tos. You can freaking figure out anything within, give me a Sunday afternoon, you can pretty much crack the code on anything. So all these amazing platforms, social media, YouTube, I was having a conversation with some agents the other day, and I was like, look, dude, because the question that got posed to me was, if you were starting over fresh in a new market and had limited funds, what would you do? And I'm like, okay, dude, granted that I had my cell phone, I had a computer, I had Wi-Fi. Then from there, I'm like, what would my budget be? And they're like, I don't know, a couple $100 a month. I'm like, a couple $100 a month, I can get a website and a CRM. Then from there, okay, I'll go get some open house equipment. I'll borrow the open house equipment until I get my first closing, and I'll reinvest it, a couple $100 of that to go get my open house equipment. But just give me that. So $200 a month to pay for my website and CRM. Then I got my cell phone, I got my computer, I got my laptop, I got my open house equipment. I'm like, I will very quickly, and by quickly I mean within 12 to 24 months, rebuild a $1 million plus yearly GCI business very, very fast. Now, I get there's an element of theory of that. because I'm not going to pack up and move tomorrow and go do this as an experiment, but I'm extremely, extremely confident that that would be, something very easy to go out there and pull off knowing what I know now today. And the reason why I bring this up, you guys, is like, look, I used to spend like 60 G's a month between radio and TV and all this brand marketing. I can do that. I can do so much damage without having to spend a cent now on social media and to get better results than when I was having to invest in all of that stuff. But, radio, TV, all of that's like, I can dominate my local market with YouTube and short form video content with social media platforms that doesn't cost me a damn thing to go out there and do all of that. And I can build up a bigger and more successful business than I had to back in the day investing all that money. I mean, like, just imagine that. Imagine the era and the time that we are in. Everybody's eyeballs are down here on their cell phones. And we have these amazing tools that we've been blessed with to go out there and crush it and dominate with that. Okay, so reason number 3 as to why it is the best time to be involved in real estate is we got more free, amazing tools than ever before. So we talked about amazing ways to generate business, through, again, social media, and that can be creating reels, and that could be creating, just post reels, utilizing social media as my social CRM, but then also there's, a lot of different ways. I know I've had other podcasts on this, so I won't go super deep into this today, but on free group posting, it's featured in Inman News several years ago about my group posting strategy on Facebook, where it's like, okay, at that time, my team and I were generating 1,200 free leads every single month, just from posting strategies. It's like pretty damn easy. When I say pretty damn easy, that translates into about 10 minutes a day for me to go out there and generate 20 plus leads every single day through free social media posting strategies, right? So a lot of amazing free tools to go out there and get now free business, than ever before. It was like when I first got in this business, dude, it was like you needed listings. There's a book out there called The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, but written by Gary Keller. You probably heard of it, and they talk in there about listings, leads, and leverage. And that used to be the case. It was like you needed the listings so you could get the sign calls, so you could have the open house opportunities, so you can, have all these other things. Well, now, with just the era that we are in, with the IDX and how everything is just metamorphosized, through our industry, it's like, dude, I don't need any listings to go out there and generate a shit ton of freaking leads. I can do this without any listings to go out there and get those leads. And I'm not saying that I'm a fan of listings like anybody else, but I don't need them to go out there and get a shit ton of clients right now, tomorrow. All right. So then from there, more free, amazing tools. So, when you look at, okay, just ways of operation, setting up process, setting up systems. I mean, really outside of my website and CRM, most of the systems that I utilize in my business are free. It's Google Drive, building out all my trackers, all my manuals, all our processes, or our playbooks, pretty much live inside Google Drive, which is free. And then we got YouTube to grow our business free. We got social media platforms, to grow your business. All of that is free. So a lot of different great free platforms for us to grow our businesses on. Then from there, like other free tools like ChatGPT. So I had a perfect storm client of mine come in the other day that's local. And she was like, hey, can I just pop in the office and, help customize and set some of this stuff up? I'd prefer that than doing it virtually. I was like, sure, dude. Like, if you want to make the trip, here's where my office is. And so we met in here actually right in the same seat. She had some different unique lead sources that were coming in with different unique things. But I was like, dude, within ChatGPT, we're writing the autoresponders, we're writing the drips. It was, it's just, again, I'm just blown away in my mind of like how freaking amazing this tool is. Now look, I don't know what the future is going to be holding. It's like I go on YouTube and it's like, oh, AI is going to take over the world. And we're going to become obsolete. And I can't control that shit. I don't know what the future is. All I know is these amazing tools exist now today. I'm going to milk every second out of them that I possibly can while they exist, while we have them, and they're free at our disposal. Okay, so reason number 4 as to why it's the best time to be involved in the industry right now today, you got more free resources and more free information today that exists out there than ever before. When I first got in the industry, there was no YouTube. There were no podcasts. Like when I wanted to go out there and see what top producers were doing in other markets and whatnot, like I had to jump on airplanes. I had to spend a lot of time and a lot of money going out there and traveling on this stuff. Now with all you can, binge the GSD Mode podcast. You can, sit there and get a look into what top the top of the top in this industry are out there doing. And I know there's a bunch of other podcasts, but then, look at all these amazing YouTube videos and all this amazing content that's out there for free. Like, this shit didn't exist. I mean, I get it. The platforms didn't exist when I got in the business. I mean, there was no smartphones. There wasn't, we didn't have DocuSign. We weren't even using scanners, really when I first got in the business. So I know I'm kind of dating and aging myself here. But this is what I was talking about earlier of like, look, you can no longer hide behind the reason or the excuse if I don't know how to do that, right? Like, there's abundance of information. Yeah, and there with that, like, you have to have the ability to sort through what's good information, what's bad information. And I'll just give you the hack. The hack in order to do that is only listen to and from people that have created the success that you want to go out there and create. If you want to go out there and build a successful real estate business, become in the top 1% of realtors and team leaders worldwide, and go out there and, build a real estate team that's doing over $4 million a year. What we did, $4.7 million a year last year in GCI. With my team that, consistently continues to grow and scale and consistently rank top of the top in the industry, that knows, it's like, okay, well, listen to me, listen to the GSDMO podcast, right? If I want to go out there and learn more about social media, okay, they'll go out there and, you got Mike Sherrard, who, I just had him on the podcast, or he was on my podcast. I had him on the podcast a couple times too. But, like, dude, he's a buddy of mine and massive savage, has an amazing YouTube channel about going out there and dominating social media. So listen to the doers. Right, I guess is what I'm trying to say here. So that's how you hack that and shortcut that, because everybody's a fucking expert online. Everybody's, I got my expertise in this, but 90% of them are just talker. Like, they're just full of shit, dude. And when I say that, they might have good points, but the quickest hack to this is just to sort through the bullshit of who I should listen to, who I shouldn't listen to, is have they created the success that I'm looking to create with that thing, right? And it doesn't mean, like, look, I will take advice from people that are experts within certain things that haven't necessarily built the real estate business overall that I built, but maybe with that thing, like maybe, it's somebody that's doing only, 60 deals a year. It's okay. Well, like, that's, not something, like 60 deals a month is, like where I want to be or where I'm at, versus that 60 deals a year. So, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to listen to them. Like, maybe they're doing 60 deals a year through TikTok, and I have a lot of knowledge that I can gain from them because they're doing more, like they've honed in and mastered that thing. So when I say this, it doesn't mean that they've got a completely 100% have built the overall business you want to build, right? But look at, okay, have they created this success within that thing that I want to create success within? So free resources, free information, whether it be YouTube, whether it be podcasts, like, you go to gsdmode.com right now, you can download my free ebook that's got 42 top tips and principles and strategies to help you go out there and dominate your business. I mean, that book right there, dude, like, if you go out there and read that book and start deploying the strategies in there, well, if you're not making 100, 200 grand plus a year off of what you learn in that book, like, okay, you're not probably executing. I mean, they're 100% free, nothing being sold. You've got my 3-hour-long in-depth, 3-hour-long masterclass on gsdmode.com, where I'm walking through the 6 top most high-level fundamentals, the 6 most important principles to continue to grow and scale your business year after year, regardless of the marketplace, that I've ever learned. When I created that training, I was like, okay, if I were getting ready to, be on my deathbed and I was having to leave this industry, what is the last training that I'd ever go out there and deliver? That's how I created that training, designed that training, and 100% free. Right? And it's a life-changing, game-changing training, that's on there, and it's all 100% free. So again, more free information, free resources than ever before. So now none of us have the excuse. We have more, I don't have my phone on me, so I can't use it as a visual, but we have more power in our cell phones today than JFK did when they landed a dude on the moon. Right. So, when you start looking at this, I mean, we have so much power at our fingertips. Now, I get and understand it can be an overwhelming, busy world. This is why you have to have frameworks of who to listen to, not listen to, and be intelligent with that stuff. But then from there, it's like, dude, like, we don't have the excuses or reasons. Oh, my broker didn't give me the support that I need. Okay, that's just you being a whiny victim. That's bitching and moaning, like you're letting somebody else's, like your success be in somebody else's hand. And that's just something you're hiding behind. Like, why do I need I haven't even talked to my broker in 3 or 4 years, dude. I'm assuming they're still alive. I'm assuming they're still kicking. I'd probably hear otherwise, but I haven't seen them. I haven't talked to them. I don't know what's going on in their life, what's going on in their world, man. I almost don't even remember their damn names. I don't need them for my success. I need them to freaking place to hang my commission check and cut my commission check, or place to hang my license, cut my commission check. I got all the other resources and tools that I need. I don't need them for that. All right. So then from there, what do we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4. Reason number 5, or maybe 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Reason number 5. All right. With real estate being at all-time low affordability, because that's a combination of all-time high, essentially record high real estate prices, and record low are also high cost of capital. But what does that translate into? That translates into pretty much close to record high commission amounts. And the reason why I'm not going to say record high commission amounts, because I don't know what that is for your market. Maybe commission percentage a little bit down, maybe they're whatever. But I know for me, the average that we're doing per commission right now per closing is the most I've ever seen in my career of doing this. There was a time that I was out there selling $5,000, units of land for banks, during the great financial crisis. We were selling, $100,000, $200,000 properties. And I have conversations with my teammates that agents on my team that have been with me for a long time. We've been together for a long time. And I'm like, we're always kind of sitting there like talking about like, man, did you ever think that there'd be a time in your career where you kind of like cringe, not cringe in a negative way, but, cringe in a way of, because we can't go out there and help them. But I'm like, did you ever think like you'd be like, oh crap, they're only qualified for $300,000. I can't help them. For the majority of my career, I've been popping like, $200,000, $250,000 homes. Now all of a sudden we're popping $500,000 homes as an average. Again, that translates into more money in your pocket per unit, that you're out there closing. So higher commissions, right? And it's I didn't think of this, but one of my coaching clients, brought it up. This was, about a year ago when inflation was just going crazy, which it's still going crazy today. It's just going less crazy. We'd have to have about a 30% deflation to set us back to where we were 3 years ago. So even if inflation tames down, it's like, like say it's still 30% more expensive. You lost 30% of your dollar's purchasing power, over the last, 2.5, 3 years, but they made a comment of, hey man, we're so blessed to be in real estate because how we get paid on percentages, and with the real estate market going up, it's like a great inflation hedge, right? So when you start thinking about it in that way, it's like, yeah, again, so many blessings, man. Count your blessings. Dude, we're blessed to be in an amazing industry. Well, we are fully control of our own fate. We got all these amazing resources, all these amazing tools. It's just such an amazing time to be involved in this industry. All right, so the last thing here, now this isn't, those are kind of the main core points as to why I believe it's the best time to be involved in this industry. The last thing I want to say, and I kind of already talked about this earlier, so I won't go too long on this, but look, this is a time where you got to be fully committed, man. You gotta be in it to win it. You got to be here to play and to win. And that might mean that you got to work harder than you've ever worked before. You got to work smarter than you've ever worked before. Like I said, working smart is just, the sniper scope versus the shotgun. It's just another way of, people have always said these words of like, work smarter, not harder. Maybe, there's times where that plays true, but right now, my own belief and my advice to you right now is work freaking hard and work freaking smart. Work harder than you've ever worked before and work smarter than you ever worked before. I mean, what is the alternative? What are you going to do? You're going to drop out of the industry, go back to the corporate world? It is like the worst damn time ever. Like, it's the best time to be involved in real estate, but the worst time possible to be involved in corporate America right now. All the bullshit going on, and I won't get into that in this YouTube, but it's like the worst, most risky, worst fucking time to be involved in. And like, you couldn't pay me enough money to go step into the corporate world. I don't care how good that offer is. I ain't doing it, dude, right? Like, this is the path that I'm going to stay down. I'm in control of my own fate. If you're winning or losing, there's nobody to blame other than you, who you're seeing looking in the mirror, that reflection of yourself, right? It's all in our control, but you got to put in that work, man. This too shall pass. This will make you stronger. This will make you better. This will make you sharper. The person that you will have to become through crushing and kicking ass in this market is going to allow you to metamorphosize, to level up to that next level. So many people want success, but they're not willing to become the person that is capable of creating the success. Now is that time where you got to level up, man. Now is that time where you got to, you can't operate like you have in the past. You got to operate with new intention, new focus, new hustle, new grind, man, new intelligence. All of these things, you got to be more strategic strategic, but again, this too shall pass. And there's going to be just continued more and more and more opportunities to go out there and dominate. So anyway, I hope you guys found this helpful. Hope you found this a little bit inspirational. For more additional free training, free resources, I know I kind of talked about them earlier, but go to gsdmode.com. You can snag my free ebook on there. You can snag my free online masterclass. Go check that out. Also, if you are interested and truly growing and scaling your business, taking your real estate business to the next level, and you're interested in hiring me as your coach/mentor to help you through this journey, you can check out gsdmode.com. You'll see my coaching program on there, a coaching tab on there. You can book a 100% zero pressure discovery call with me personally, where we can see if we're a fit for each other. I'll walk you through what the program is, what the commitments are, just so you know up front. It is the most effective, hands down, the most effective coaching program that exists in this industry. And I'll go through that with you in the coaching call as to why. But, now that I've had coached and mentored over 5,000 agents and team leaders and broker owners through the program, I'm extremely certain of that fact. But also my commitment has been not to just build the most effective, but to make it the most affordable, where regardless whether you're brand new or how seasoned you are in this industry, whether you're, a successful team leader, successful brokerage owner, or if you're brand new and struggling, there's not one person that can't afford the program, right? It's less than your daily Starbucks budget. So I've made it not just the most effective, but the most affordable, as a way for me to give back to an industry that's changed every aspect of my life. So you can go check that out. Be happy to jump on a call with you, talk about your business, talk about the program. Even if you don't jump in the program, I make sure that these calls are beneficial for you, because we spend about half the time talking about the program. The other half the time on that hour call is about 30 minutes of a coaching call, essentially talking about your business and helping you get dialed inside your real estate business. So again, gsdmode.com. All right, guys, I hope that this was helpful. Keep crushing it. Keep kicking ass. I'll see you next time. Peace.